show called
Books,
Braids,
and Banter.
We are starting off with this new series called Y'all Read This Yet? And so for our first book that we are starting off with is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. Y'all read this yet?
Did y'all read it yet?
Because we're a little late, but no. Clearly she was stressed.
I was stressed
when it came to this book.
I
was stressed too, but I don't know. I'm cute. I'm very, very cute.
Very cutesy, and I'm very yo, what's going on?
Right.
Man.
Very stressed. So, tell me, how others, besides from being stressed, how'd you feel about this?
This book was remarkable, breathtaking.
Yes.
I feel like if I was to, God forbid, die, just bury me with this book. Because
it was beautiful.
Don't let the size of the book fool you neither. It is 600, but each page was so captivating and so like, wow. Like, I'm not a history buff. This is history, and I was okay with it. Okay with it.
I will say that this book, again, like you said, don't let the size fool you. I honestly didn't even want this to end. And I didn't even feel like I read, almost 600 pages?
Mm-hmm.
Almost 600 pages. I didn't even feel like I read 600 pages. And each chapter was so quick. It was it's an easy read. The words, the font, the size, it was on
perfect. And if you cry, it's okay. I cried a couple of times, and I'm not a crier. And
yeah, the ending got me. It got me. I mean, throughout the book, it got me for sure. But no, it's so beautiful.
Yes.
So, so what we're trying to do is we're trying to write down some questions or our thoughts while we're reading the book, and then we just kind of meet up and we have us a little book talk on it.
Yep. Homegirls to homegirls to homeboys to homeboys,
yes,
to whoever wants to be with us. We're doing that raw, review, unfiltered.
Yes.
What you wish you saw, or what you wish somebody would say about it, we're not afraid to say it.
Right. Right. And this book, I think honestly, this was a good book to start off with, because I really have nothing. I mean, we won't be negative like that, but I have nothing negative to say about this book.
Kristin Hannah,
this was on point.
She took her time like that.
No, she did, and did thorough research on stuff, and I felt like I was in the book.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was in the story. I was a part of it. I loved every single character. It really was just beautiful, and it was an adventure for me.
Honestly speaking, I feel like when I was in school, if teachers were to teach it like this, I would have had an A+. I would have been an A student throughout school, because this is I'm telling you, it's so captivating. It's just hold on, this is what really happened. I was so shooketh. Yeah, you hear about the Nazi, but the only person that I heard about the Nazi was the Anne Frank in the attic, and that's all I knew. I didn't, her journey, their journey. I didn't know, that's what they went through.
Right. So to kind of give you a little short summary of this book, this is a book about two sisters during World War II. Mm-hmm. So think the 30s. I think it starts off in the 30s, then goes to the 40s, so the end of it. One sister is about that housewife life, house mom. She is about that life. She's look, I want to be kept up in the house. Then you got this other sister who is more of a rebel.
I'm about it.
She, for real, she's trying to save the world. She is trying to be the hero and all that. So you just go through both of their journeys, and you kind of uncover some things within both sisters. I feel like everyone can relate to both of them at some point in the book, for sure. So that really was great.
So this, a must read.
Yes,
it's a must read.
Okay, so Rachel and Vianne are best friends, and Rachel is a Jewish woman. Captain Beck, who is the Nazi captain that was staying at Vianne's house, didn't he go up to her job, or was this at their house?
So it was at their house, and Captain was just hey, Let me have a list of people that's Jewish and communist.
Yes.
It's for nothing. We just want to keep track of them. Here Vianne goes.
Low key, Vianne was hesitant about it.
Yeah, but he was gonna figure it out. They already know they was gonna figure it out. So why say anything? Even Mother Teresa said it. Like, why you just like she was trying to make her feel better, but whether you did it or you didn't, they was gonna figure it out. So
I feel like Vianne is damned if she do and damned if she don't with you because
so like Dust Bucket decides to she decides to give a whole, like everybody from her school that was Jewish or communist, she writes their name down.
Right.
And then Captain was just like, nah, you not slick. What about Rachel?
Right.
So that goes to show you, he already knew who was Jewish. He was just trying to make sure, like,
she was gonna help out. What exactly? And that says so much about him. Look, bro, hold on. Because that says so much about him.
Okay, that was when I was a little sus about him. But wait.
No, okay. Mm-hmm.
So then, what happens? Maybe a week later, they came with a shovel and say, every Jewish person, you got to go.
Right.
You gotta go. So who did that? Vianne did that. Like, so now your best friend is broke. Her husband went to war. She ain't got no money for her family. Mm-hmm. Now, you just took money out her mouth to feed her family.
And at this point, I think this is when Captain Beck had said to her, like, hey, your friend's about to be leaving, or they're finna come pick your friend up, hide her for a day.
Yeah.
So,
what else did Vianne do? Vianne, then her little co-worker, I guess, the next round, they came around picking up communists who was against the Nazis, who wasn't all about them. They came to the school. That's when Vianne, hello! Not him. He does nothing wrong. Shut up. Like, they already know he's a communist. Like, he was going to get fired. Now, Dust Bucket gets fired too. Right. How you putting food in your child's mouth? Like, you're so scared about everything. That's why I'm like, with her, she talks at the wrong, like, shut up.
Oh, so scared. Yeah. Look, she was scared about everything because honestly, I think she was thinking about her daughter. Didn't know what the repercussions were. Okay, so kind of back to the Rachel part. Rachel ended up, she stayed at Vianne's house for that day. I think it was like beginning of the afternoon. Rachel was like, girl, look, I stink. Let me go home.
I'm hungry.
Right. She had her little boy down in the basement with her. She was like, hey, can we go take a shower real quick? They both go back to the girl's house, which I didn't understand why she didn't just take a bath at Vianne's house. Soon as they go up there, because they're thinking like, okay, well, the day wasn't over yet, but they were thinking like, ain't no one came to the house to try to get me.
Captain Beck was paranoid.
Yeah, he was. So as soon as they walk up to Rachel's house, here come the Nazis. Girl, you gotta go. Come on, get in this truck.
Let's go. So that's another thing. Like, then what else did Vianne do? Vianne, before that, what happened was while she was hiding out in the shed, Captain Beck was just like, yo, go and to the free zone.
Oh, yes.
Go to the free zone. And while they were like going to the free zone, Rachel had a daughter, and I don't know, like the Nazis just wasn't in the mood that day.
Right.
And they turned and they just started shooting people, and unfortunately,
Rachel's daughter was
unalive.
Yes.
That was one part that I like.
Right.
I was screaming. Like, it was just like, and then it's like the daughter, like, she's just like, Mommy, what's going on? Are we free? Oh my God. Oh.
And Captain Beck was standing there with the whip, so he wasn't even worried about it at all whatsoever.
All right, but Captain had to do his job. He was just doing his job.
Okay, so then when the Knights came to pick up Rachel was like, look, Vianne, can you take my son Ari, right? So Rachel takes in Ari and basically raises him.
I think that's the
son.
Only positive thing that she did. Like,
so she raises him as her own because she is motherly and she had already had a daughter, and
I give that to her. She was a good mom.
That's what kicked in.
She was a good mom.
Back to that part where she stood up, was trying to stand up for her colleague, and then she ends up getting fired. She gets fired, and then she starts working at an orphanage or another school, and that's where she starts rescuing all these children.
Yeah.
She's, all these women are reaching out to her and is like, hey, can you take my child, all that.
So she felt like her saving kids once in a while was supposed to reclaim her for all them dumb.
No, and it did. She saved 19 children. Look, her motherly cautiousness is what saved all those children's lives. It saved children.
Okay, fine.
So
that's why I said, yeah, but it still didn't make up. She still trashed.
Girl, just because she wasn't out there slinging bullets.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. After almost the end of the war, it was like almost like maybe if the war was gonna be done in 2 years, she started doing it in a year. So it's like, girl, now, like
at least 19 kids will say.
Like, all right. So I really love Isabelle. Isabelle was my girl.
Yes.
So basically, she's the one that don't care. Like, she wanted to fight for her country, like, no matter what. Like, no matter what, she was with whatever.
Right.
Like, she was just like, yeah, like, I don't like the fact that they're saying because I'm a girl, I can't do nothing. Like, like, she was about it.
Right.
Versus her little big sister, Vianne, I didn't relate to her because yeah, you're married, yeah, you got kids, and to me she was mad. She was a scaredy cat. Like, she was mad buns. Like, she didn't stand up for nothing. Like, it's like, for me, like, the times that she stood up, I'm just like, now you want to stand up for somebody? Like, shut up. Like, I don't know.
You were so extra about that.
I really just love Isabelle. Like, Isabelle was about that life. Like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes she was like quick to anger. Like, it would be like, damn.
Right.
Pipe down. But I liked her. Like,
right.
I related to her.
Right. So when we first kind of discussed this book, as Shay said, she loved Isabelle. And she was like all about her, didn't really care for Vianne. Me, on the other hand, I loved both of them. I could relate to both of them at different parts of my life, and just how I am too as a person. Like, Vianne was just more cautious. She was fearful about the war and about things in general, because you gotta think about it, like, how, I guess at the time that she grew up, it was the early 1900s, like the 1910s and 1920s was when she started growing up. And so she was, listening to, oh, you're going to get married and a man's going to take care of you, and that's all you got to worry about, right? That's how it was.
My whole thing with that whole situation is, yeah, I guess I relate to Isabelle because she's a hothead. And I'm high-key a hothead too. So I feel like I got Isabelle, right? But I'm not giving Vianne grace because they both went through the same thing. Like, moms died, their moms died, and then their pops couldn't handle them, so he shipped them off to boarding school. So they went through the same thing. Like, they were both.
So since Vianne is the older sister, Vianne had to grow up fast. She had to grow up fast.
Grow up fast.
Nope. Vianne is the older sister. So Isabelle, in a way, depended on Vianne. She depended on her in a way.
She dropped the ball.
Right. So that's why Isabelle was really hurt, as she should, because she was like, well, dang, like, you my older sister, like, you were supposed to help me out. So I'm just saying, like, she, in a way, she was, like, leaning on her, as she should have. But Vianne did have to grow up because she did end up getting pregnant. I think at, like, what was it, like 14, 15-ish. Yeah. That's when she ended up getting pregnant with her husband, with the guy that she ended up marrying later on. And then, like, she took over their family home. Yeah. So she, like, immediately jumped into that lifestyle. So she was more so thinking of, like, okay, now this war is happening. Again, like I said, she was really, like, cautious about everything, avoiding conflict just because she had a daughter. So, like, she wasn't trying to get into all that. Isabelle, she didn't have no, you know, like, she just only had herself.
Like, she didn't have nobody at risk.
Right.
Life in there.
Right.
Okay, I get you. Okay.
But of course she was angry because everyone she knew left her. Like, she's angry about anything in general. So I get that part too. Like, I could definitely relate to that in some ways as well. But
Isabelle
like, she was so quick. She really was. No, she really was. And sometimes it was getting on my nerves, and I was like, yo, chill. Like, we're finna get there. Like, chill, you know? But she, you know, it's like, you just gotta chill. Okay, we finna get to that point.
I get it, because it's just like, when, when somebody tells you, yo, you can't do something, because that's what they kept telling her. Every time, every mishap in her life, they kept saying, you can't do this, you can't do that. So I understand when she's just like, nah, I'm gonna prove it to you. So like,
right.
Yeah, sometimes she crashes out and she goes above, like, you pipe down, but I get it. Like, it was just like, yo, I'm gonna show you, like, I can do it. Like, I could do it. Yeah, bite your tongue now.
But a lot of times, in order for you to be that kind of person, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna show you, okay, that's great, but sometimes you gotta think, so that way it can come into fruition on point in front of those. You know, you can lay it out on the table in front of your enemies, that's fine, but you gotta still think. You that's where the cautiousness gotta come in. You can't be like immediate like that, though.
I respect that, because her mans did say, like, her peoples did say that. He was just like, yo, like, you can't be so quick. You gotta...
Right. And it wasn't always necessarily her being a hothead. It was just also, like, she was just so quick to do something, too. And it's like, come on. Like, because, I mean, at this point, we all finna die. I felt like my heart was beating. I was like, oh, my God. Like, hold on. Chill, man. Chill. So...
She put me in the hospital. If I was her mom... She would put me in the hospital each and every time.
I would have been bald, like, for real. I would have been bald.
That was my problem child, but I love her.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off with. I love both of them. So we're gonna start off. I gotta say it like that. Vianne had her good moments. She had a good moment. She really did. And
she got her.
You're gonna see.
She got her best friend's daughter.
Stop.
On the live.
Okay. Look. So Vianne, older sister. I don't know by how many years, but she was the older sister. I think she ended up getting pregnant when she was like 14, 15, 16. She had met her husband, Antoine, about that age, when her and Isabelle's father had dropped them off at this school. Was it a boarding school?
I think it was a boarding school for
proper girls, to make girls become proper.
Yeah.
So she meets Antoine. Vianne meets Antoine over there. Gets pregnant by him. They ended up getting married. She ended up losing the child, the baby.
So she was depressed. Like, she went through, I think, like, for 2-3 years before she had her other kid.
Right.
She was very depressed. So, like, there came to a time where Isabelle was staying with Vianne. Right. And she couldn't. Like, so her husband was just like, it was just too much for my wife. You know, putting his family first. And once again, here comes somebody turning their back on Isabelle.
All right. We'll get to Isabelle in a minute. But, so they had Isabelle go off to a few other boarding schools. Vianne and Antoine ended up having another child. And then how the book starts off... Antoine is about to go off to war to fight for France in World War II. So he goes off. They have a daughter, Sophie.
Yeah.
And I think she's like 9 or 10 in the beginning of this.
No, she's like 4. Remember?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she's real young in the beginning of all this. So you see, Vianne is very like motherly. She's very much, like I had said, like a housewife, like trying to keep the home.
All she was worried about is, oh my God, what am I gonna do? My husband is leaving, and I don't know what to do.
She was like most every woman at that time. So she was like every woman at that time, okay, in that time period. So, then in the book, Isabelle comes and lives with her, right? I think Isabelle comes and lives with her after being kicked out of a boarding school. I think Isabelle tried to move in with the dad. Dad wasn't trying to hear about it. So she goes and lives with Vianne and Sophie. Sophie looks up to Isabelle because she sees the rebel. Isabelle she's smart. She's still fairly young. I think when the book started, Isabelle was 17. So she's still fairly young. She's looking at her like an older sister. So then when the war starts, the Nazis started to occupy France. And one of the captains comes over to Vianne's house. Now, Captain Beck he goes over to Vianne's house talking about hey, basically I gotta move in here. Y'all can live here too, or y'all can go. Now, he's being nice about it. He is a gentleman about it. He's like, hey, I understand. I'm so sorry, but your house is the one that was picked. So Vianne's like, all right, that's fine. Isabel's like, baby, look, I'm gonna kill you in your sleep.
Yep.
All right?
Yep.
So, they live life as normal. Vianne's also a school teacher as well, right? She was a school teacher. So they live life. Then Isabelle is like, hey, I'm going to go off because I'm trying to fight in this war. Like, I'm trying to be in the war, So she goes off. The captain and Vianne live together. He's, good to her and her daughter. I think he goes back home a few times to see his wife and kids, and, they come back. In the meantime, Vianne's husband ends up being a prisoner of war. She finds out that he's prisoner of war, and he's not one of the people that the men that gets to come back. But this Captain Beck, helps her to send off messages to her husband, packages and all that stuff. So one night, there's an American pilot that gets shot down in this field. Now, at this point, Isabelle comes back. She has this crew of people that are trying to be like heroes in the war, and they doing the most, but in a good way. So she's in this field, sees this plane goes down. She's like, hey, let me go ahead and save this captain. Grabs the captain. They're all like, where we gonna put him? I guess they happen to be by the barn where the house is. She goes over, puts the captain in the barn, like in the basement area. Her crew's like, hey, you stay down with, or she's like, I'm gonna stay down here with him. And her crew's like, well, we'll come back in a little while, we'll come back and get y'all. Cool. Well, the pilot ends up passing away in there. So she's sitting up in there, and at this point, Captain Beck, he's coming home frustrated as heck, right? Because his higher ups is getting on to him, like, where the hell is this pilot at?
Because it felt like right where he was staying at.
Right. Right, exactly. It's staying, and then he's one of the captains, right? So he gets frustrated with her. He has said a few things like, oh, you French people are all the same, this and that, like calling her out her name.
He was stressed.
Let somebody say, oh, you black folk. Look, I don't care how stressed out you are. I don't care. Because at this point, there have been a few times where Captain Beck and Vianne kind of like shared feelings with each other, just a little bit. So so she's just kind of like, oh, like, what's going on? So this same day, he goes out and he's like, I'm gonna go find this guy. And then he comes back and it's just like, still stressed out because his higher ups are like, look, what's going on? I don't understand, like, where there's no body, what are we doing? He's, letting out his frustration. Vianne's like, well, I don't think you've looked everywhere. Don't even know why she sat up and said that. That was kind of ridiculous. She's the Lulu. That was ridiculous. The Lulu. Real quick, I did skip over the little part. She did go to the barn when he first left, finds Isabelle and the American pilot in the little drop basement.
And it would have never happened.
Yeah.
You know those, when you're playing hide and go seek and your friends is helping you and your friends know where they hid the body or where the person hid.
Right.
And then you got that friend that's just like, hey, you sure you didn't?
So with Captain Beck, the captain that was staying with Vianne in her household and was the, the good Nazi. Again.
Not the good. He was...
Girl, say it.
I sympathize with him. Okay.
That was gonna be my question. So you sympathize.
He was not forced. No, not forced. I don't know. I feel like he was forced to be in this war. Like, he had a family, he had kids. Like, he was forced, right? And I felt like he was a gentleman. Like, he never raped her where he could have, and nobody was gonna say nothing. He could have disrespected her. He could have degraded her. He could have degraded her daughter. Like, there was a lot of things that he could have done, and he didn't. Like, he didn't. Like, he was so like, my girl Isabelle didn't like him because he was a Nazi. And he tried his best to stay out. When Vianne's daughter was sick, what did he do? He got her medication. Like, yeah, he was bringing wine. Like, I feel like
he was doing the bare minimum.
I'm an optimist.
He was doing what he was supposed to.
Obviously, you could say I'm an optimist, and she's like, no, like, as he should. But I
as you will find out, optimist, pessimist, you know, especially when it comes to men at times. But we not for that.
But I feel like, so what happened was, I cried. I was boo-hooing. So he, like we said, Isabelle was trying to save an American soldier. And
Captain Beck was getting, he was really getting, by his higher ups. He was getting frustrated with Vianne. He was calling her out her name, doing all this mess.
But let's not forget, he was also the same one that told her, yo, save your best friend because they coming for her.
Ain't nobody forgot.
Don't forget when Vianne was holding Rachel's baby, he knew that the baby was Jewish, and he gave her
provide the
papers for him. Like, so it's like a lot of stuff that he was helping. So I honestly, I feel like, when it came down to it, I feel like if Vianne had kept it a buck, I don't think he would have reacted. Like, maybe he would have been like, oh, he was further east. He wasn't where we thought the body of the American. He was further east or further west or north or south, and placed the body there. But they decided, nah, they wasn't risking it. And Vianne hit him with a shovel the same time where my girl Isabelle, bah!
Yeah.
So
I also think that at that time, because Vianne had found Isabelle in the basement with the American pilot, from that time to when Captain Beck came back to when she sat up and made that comment of, you ain't looked everywhere, I think everything just happened too quick.
Yeah.
I don't think she really had enough time to be like, hey, look, listen, Linda, listen, let me tell you something. I don't think she really had enough time. And plus, he was on one. Like, he really was on one. Like, he was sitting up there just really, like, doing the most with his words. Yeah. And so, I don't think she had enough time to really say anything. Honestly, I just feel like, at the end of the day, if it was up to him, if it was between him and them, it was going to be them.
Yeah, but then, why? And then, so it... moving on from the book, it made me even, it was just like, okay, Captain Beck, once he passed away, another Nazi came.
Right.
That Nazi was the devil.
Yes.
Reincarnated.
Yes.
So, the new SS, it was like the SS soldiers. He was just like, yo, Vianne, my homies is coming through. I need you to cook for them.
Yeah.
Yo, let me see the biggest house. Let me see the biggest room you got, because that's where I'm staying.
Right.
And then essayed her.
Yes.
And then multiple times. And then got her pregnant. And then disrespect her and said, when the war was done, he was just like, you never gonna forget about me. But a little tramp like you, I'm gonna forget about you. Like,
right.
So you telling me that Captain Beck was like that? Like,
I didn't say Captain Beck was like that, but Captain Beck, he could have been, yes, he was probably forced to go into this war, but he was not sitting up acting like he was against anything that they were doing. He was the same dude that was there with the whip, loading up.
You're not letting him go
Jewish
with that
people.
whip.
Look, as soon as I read whip, I said, look, Lord, I'm gonna put this book down.
Doing his, like, what you want him to do?
It was natural.
Okay.
It was natural.
Okay.
That's all we're gonna say. It was natural to him.
Natural.
It was natural. And at the end of the day, when he was talking about, why he doesn't want to be in the war, it had nothing to do with, and again, everyone wants to go home. I know everybody wants to go home. Everybody does. But he was not sitting up saying, I don't think that this stuff that my side is fighting for is right. He's going to go home to them wife and kids, as he should. But that was his main concern. He didn't really care about who was going to the concentration camps, except for, and I will give him that, except for when it was the people that he was close to, like that he was around, that he knew, which was Vianne and Vianne's best friend. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of like
double-edged sword?
Kind of, because it's like, again, would it have been between him or them? It's gonna be you. If it's gonna be between me and Captain Beck, it's gonna be Captain Beck. Okay, because I'm not gonna find out. I'm just not.
And that's where I respect it. Like I would have been the Lulu to be like, okay, let me not do nothing to him and let me figure out what he was going.
Right, because we don't have time to.
We don't got time. So like
that's where really I'm coming from.
Yeah. So
right, I get.
So just to conclude this, I don't want to leave you guys because it felt like, you know.
Look, this is our little book talk. This is our hangout, cozy after work talk. Anything after reading a book, just discuss. Yes. In conclusion, my thoughts. I gave this book a 5. This book was a 5-star. I even made a review. I don't even write reviews, but I wrote a review on this book. This book was hauntingly beautiful. It was adventurous. I had a good time. I laughed. I cried. Mostly cried. But I didn't want it to end. That's all I know. I didn't want it to end, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you want it to end because you want that time period to, you wanted that time to end, but I did not want the story to end. But yeah, 5 stars. 5 stars for me.
Me, if you look out into the abyss and you see all the stars, and if we could count all the stars in every country and every state and every continent, that would be mine. So I guess it's infinity. Like, I can't even rate the book. Like, it's just infinity. Like, honestly speaking, I don't like to read books, like, because I already know what's gonna happen. The surprising of it is gone for me. But with this, I don't mind reading it again, because Kristin Hannah,
you did your big one on this one. You did your big. Not gonna lie, you did your big one on this one.
I'm like so excited to see more of her. Like, but this book right here, go run to Amazon, Target, book outlet, wherever sells book. If they have this book, do not second guess. Go.
And it's supposed to be turned into a movie, a major motion picture. I guess we should have also said like who we would think. I don't know. The only character that I could see someone playing was Gaetan. What's that guy's name? Timothy Chalamet. Chalamet, am I saying his name right?
Mm-hmm.
I could see him playing him. Mm-hmm. I did hear that the Fanning sisters are going to be playing the sisters in here. But no, yeah, 5 stars. Like this was amazing. It definitely is going to stick with me. We are ready to read some more books by her. I'm excited. I'm excited.
So I'm a new
Kindle
girly. So no funny. If you guys stay tuned for our next one. Oh, you see, I'm struggling because I'm new to this. I'm learning. So if you guys keep sticking with us, our new it's not if, because I know you guys are gonna stick with us. So big freedom. So So our next episode is gonna be Ward D, baby.
Go ahead, get those pajamas ready. Get that glass of wine ready.
We coming for y'all.
We coming. And we want you to come and join us. And we're just gonna be ready, and we are excited to discuss this book.
Because right now, let's just say, just a snippet. I'm kind of sort of scared of the dark right now. Like, I'm kind of scared of the dark. So yeah.
But we hope that you enjoyed our little book talk, and we hope to see y'all, or we will see y'all next week. Y'all have a great and wonderful night. Bye.